What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I know this is a new channel, but this is MI Motorsports or Michigan Motorsports. I'm Nick, and in the last video I talked about what we could see on this channel, what I'd like to do with the channel, stuff like that. And I know I did mention something about my 2017 RZR here and how the state of Michigan is wanting to, well, not wanting to, but they did make them to where you can get them street legal. Now there is a bunch of rules that you have to follow. So today I figured what we could do is go over some of those rules. So here she is, guys. Now, like I mentioned before, we are in my garage, so it's not the biggest, so angles might be a little difficult. But what I figured we could do is go over all the stuff that state of Michigan requires you to do, and some of the things that I have done to mine personally, including some of the brands for different products that I've put on here to pass inspection. Because ultimately you have to pass a DOT inspection to get another VIN to get your license plate. So right here we'll start in the front. And one thing that you absolutely need is front and rear bumpers. So I didn't want anything crazy bulky. I didn't want a winch bumper, even though I have a winch. Mine's tucked away in the frame, so I wanted something small, out of the way, and then I could still mount lights to. So the cool thing about this one is there still is a spot to mount a light bar or some pod lights, and it does have the skid plate at the bottom, as is right here. I do need to cut it out still to add another fair lead, but so that way I can run my winch through it. So it is made by Ace Racing. I got it off of Amazon. I want to say it was like 130, maybe 140 bucks. Didn't pay a whole lot for it. I didn't want anything that was, like I said, obnoxious and large. I was trying to do this all on a budget. But I will tell you guys, with buying the front bumper and the rear bumper on like cheaper, be aware that you don't get the greatest fitment for this cheaper stuff. So it was a pain in the butt to put on. This small bumper is only held on by 4 bolts, and it took me an hour and a half to get everything to line up, and I even had to like open up another hole. That's what you get what you pay for. So we'll move on to the back. I'll show you guys the rear bumper. So there's the rear. Like I said, I didn't want anything huge, bulky. I wanted actually something smaller than this, but once I got it, I actually do like this one. But another thing that I wanted to go with was I wanted something that was like a lower profile and out of the way, because ultimately I do want to switch to the 2019 rear tail lights, the rear fascia, and the 2019 front fascia with the fang lights. I'm sure you guys have seen them go right there. But I wanted a bumper in the front and the rear that I could do those with, and that they would stay out of the way, so it wouldn't block a lot of airflow, stuff like that, because they do have a larger grill. So that's the reason why I went with those. Now, sticking with the front here, there's a couple of features that you have to have that are not cheap. One, the windshield. It has to be DOT approved glass. And two, you have to do a turn signal kit, which is what these indicators are for. We'll start with the windshield. I got lucky, and I found a member on one of the other riding pages for the state of Michigan on Facebook who had the windshield, the bracket, the glass, and the windshield wiper, which you do need. You do have to have a windshield wiper, whether it be manual or electric. Mine is just manual, as you guys can see. Probably never going to use it. I do detail cars quite often. I've come across a lot of great products, similar to Rain-X, that will keep water off. And if it's raining, I probably won't be driving this on the street very much. But you do have to have a windshield. You do have to have DOT approved glass. I was lucky and I bought everything for 50 bucks. I did have to go get a piece of glass cut. The glass was shattered, so I had a local glass company. But altogether, I think I have like 180 bucks into almost a $400 windshield. So I did save some money on that. It's not exactly the design I wanted to go for. I don't like the big border that goes around, but it is what it is. It saved me some money, so I'll deal with it for now. And then while we're up here, you do have to have a windshield washer fluid reservoir with sprayers and everything. Polaris sells a kit that's like $500 with the electronic windshield wiper arm and everything. I didn't want that. I probably never gonna use it. So I don't have the kit installed yet, but um, it's in my truck actually, which then it's across the street. I only paid like $18 for it on Amazon. It's just a universal kit. Comes with the reservoir. Comes with the sprayer, the button for it. I just gotta wire it all in. It squeezes down underneath the hood. It's a little tight fit, but it'll do, I guess. Next thing, turn signals. Kind of sucks. You have to go through turn signals and a horn, but there is companies out there like Corbin Customs. That's who I went with. They were awesome to work with. The kit's a little more expensive. The horn kit was like $60. The turn signals were like $240 or something like that. But it's all plug and play. It's all wired up. It's in a nice wiring harness. So I have two little LED indicators up here. Here's the switch. And it's cool too. The switch has an indicator, so it does blink on whatever side you have on. So I have the two indicators here. And once I get the fang lights for the front end swap, those will also, they make some that are like switchbacks to where the running lights are white, and when you turn the turn signal on, it will work as a turn signal with your amber lights. But the main reason why I went with this kit was because here in the back, I didn't want to have to drill any more spots into my fascia. So the cool thing about this kit is it utilizes my factory taillights as blinkers. Just preference wise, you can get the kit on Amazon that is pretty cheap. But I mean, you have to wire it all. You have to drill your holes. You know, you can get the kit for like $100. It comes with turn signals, a horn, a license plate bracket, which I'll show you guys, and a license plate light. So it comes with the whole kit. I went a little different route, cost me a little more money, but I am very happy with this kit, and those guys are awesome to work with. And then you also, like I said, have to have the horn, which it is loud. It's obnoxious how loud it is, actually. But you do have to have that. And then they were, like I said, that's Corbin Customs. They were awesome to work with. Those guys, I called them up, told them what I wanted. I put the order in on a Sunday. He called me on a Monday, making sure he knew exactly what I wanted. After messaging him a couple times back and forth in emails. And they knew exactly what I wanted. So I want to be able to swap that front fascia with the fang lights. And I told him I want to be able to use the kit right now on my 17, but then do the fascia swap and still use his fang lights. So they were cool enough to put different adapters on. And all I have to do is, when I ordered the fang lights, I just have to let him know what I'm doing with it. And he said, I'll hook you up. So awesome guys to work with. I really, really highly recommend those guys. It's super easy kit to install. It's all plug and play, and it comes with some awesome directions. Let's see here. Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, the directions. You got templates, so that way all your lights are in the same spot for when you're drilling holes. So it's an awesome kit. I'm really happy I went with that. And then, like I said, in the rear, you do need a license plate bracket, which is right here, and it does have an LED light on it. That one came from like UTV Inc. It was a very easy kit to install. Literally, it hooks right into your harness. It's behind the splash pan for your rear tail light. So as soon as the light's on, this indicator light comes on. It's LED. It's bright, so that way the cops won't give me any problems for not being bright enough so they can't see the plate, because it is a full-size plate. We don't run like the little plates, like the motorcycle plates or like the moped like plates or anything like that. They are full-size plates. So I did go with that kit. It was like $50 for the plate and everything. The stock location that they wanted it to mount to was right underneath the Polaris. I did try to mount it there, and the way my bumper is, it would not work. So I dropped it down so it was in the open. It's nice and visible. You can see the wire, but it is what it is. It's not really a big deal. The other thing that it's going to cost you some money, if you have one, that's awesome. If not, wheels and tires. You could stay with your stock wheels and run 14s, or like me, I want 15s. And these are a 32 by 10 by 15 Maxxis Carnivore on a System 3 SB4 beadlock. I wanted new wheels and tires anyway, so I shopped around, did a bunch of research on the internet. It looked like for the riding that we have, where I usually go, which is a mixture between like loose, like sand and rock, and then you also have some trails that are hard packed. For me, these work great. I've used them for about 200 miles now. My RZR, don't use it much. That is the whole reason why I'm getting it street legal. I'll get more into that in a little while. But I did go with these because of all the research and everything, and I don't know, like, there's just so many different tire compounds out there. They're not too heavy. They're in a 32. They grab so hard. I run them at like 18 ps or like 8 psi. They grab hard, and that's why I went with the beadlock, just so I could air them down without having to worry about anything. But I love them. They ride really good. The only thing that makes me nervous is they are a DOT tire, so I can ride them on the street, but they are super soft compound. So I'm a little nervous about how quickly they're going to wear. And the only other downfall to these Maxxis carnivores is they have a very soft sidewall, so they are prone to like punctures and stuff like that. So you just have to be careful with them. I love them though. They grab super hard. I've raced other side-by-sides, other 1000s. And 100% the tire is what got it, because this is just a stock 1000. 110 horsepower. I can keep up with turbos right out of the hole, and of course power takes over and they pull on me. But right off the rip, with the instant torque out of the 1000 and no turbo lag, and then with the tire, it hooks really hard, and I'm really happy with them. But they are not cheap. I think wheels and tires, I spent like $1,200. So that's one other part that's going to get you. And then the other part that is really expensive, we'll wait on that. That's the one part I still don't have, and I'll get more into that in a minute. But the other part is you need some side view mirrors, which I don't have. I think they're made by Tusk from Rocky Mountain. They are the only ones I can find that'll mount with that bracket with this windshield. Since I don't have enough room to put like a roll cage clamp or anything, or bracket like these rear lights are, something like this, I can't. I'm very, very limited to what kind of mirrors I can run. So for right now, I'm just waiting. They're all on back order. I'm hoping to get a set in here soon. They're like $75 for mirrors, for just little small like 3-4 inch mirrors, round mirrors. But I mean, it's the only ones I can use, so that's what I'm gonna go with. And then, like I said, there is one more really expensive part, unless you can fabricate it somehow, which I tried. Me and my dad tried for like 2 days on this. Finally got a bracket that we worked, and we put the wheel on, and the wheel rubbed just enough that I wasn't happy with it. So took them off. I still have the calipers. I got a buddy who already passed his DOT inspection with these brackets and everything. I also have another buddy who is a fabricator, so I'm going to give them to him, and he's going to build them for me. I already have, like, this is why it's torn apart. I already have the handle, which is just out of, like, a 2002 Honda Accord. It's a little big, but it'll work. And I already have brake cables ran, which may be kind of hard to see. But I just don't have any calipers. So there's a couple kits that people in the state sell. They're not all over the place, like all over the country. You can't just order up a kit because a lot of states don't require it, which is really annoying. There's on the other side of the state in Grand Rapids, there's a shop that'll do it. They'll install them for like $850, and that's a complete kit. There's another guy, I think he's in Ann Arbor, which is not too far from me, is like $550 for buying the parts, and then he will install them for, I think, $100, so $650. I can install them. I'm not worried about that, but that's just money I didn't want to spend. There's other things I want to do this. I want to buy a new cage. I want to do different suspension. I want, different radius rods, trailing arms, A-arms, shocks. There's so much stuff I want to do this. I want light. I like lights. I'm a big fan of lights. So rock lights, light bars. I want lights. So even performance stuff. I don't want to spend $500 on something I'm not going to use. From what I heard from all the other DOT inspections, the DOT or the cop will show up, he'll sign off on it, your DOT inspector will come look at it, pull the handle. Sometimes I've heard he rocks it, sometimes they don't, they just see if it actually functions. I don't know, so I just need one that actually works, and then I'll probably never use it again. That's why I don't want to waste the $550 on it. So that just kind of gives you guys a little rundown of all the stuff that you need in the state of Michigan to make a RZR street legal. And what sucks about it the most is every other state that I know of that allows these on the roads, you don't have to do half the stuff like this. So there is a bunch, but my only reasoning behind doing this is where I live, it's like a 3-hour drive for me to go riding at anywhere decent. So I had to basically go up to my girlfriend's cabin up north and then still shoot over like 30 miles west to start hitting like a decent trailhead. So for me, like I've had this thing since new in 2017. I've put 520 miles on this. I don't use it as much as I would like to. So for me, being able to drive it back and forth to work, stuff like that. My truck's also a lease. It's going back at the end of this year. So if I can use this to just like drive back and forth to work, I save me a little money or something, buy another project, I'm fine with that. Nobody really believes me either that I'm going to ride it in the wintertime. I'm not driving in the wintertime. I got heated jackets and stuff. Like, I got bibs, I got boots, so I'll be fine. But I just think it'd be a blast to ride this thing like through a snowstorm. And then that's another thing. My other buddy has one identical. Well, not identical. His is like a 16 or a 17, but it's also a 1000. But we want to do a trip down to downtown Detroit during a snowstorm to get some like sweet pictures and stuff like that, like down like by all the stadiums and stuff. So that is one of the goals, is to get this done within the next month or so before the snow is done. So we can cruise downtown, get some dope shots, mess around on the highway and stuff. So that's just a little insight on what all you have to go through, what all you need to buy, and then it's a paperwork mess. You have to wait. You have to have a local cop come and sign off on it, and you take the paperwork over to Secretary of State, then they put it through the system, and they finally get a DOT inspector out here to look at it, and then he puts it through the system, and then you get a plate, and then you got to wait for your VIN to come in. They put a new VIN on them, which that also sucks. But then I also, like, mine's financed, so I have to go through the bank. The bank has already told me that I'm allowed to do it, but that's still more paperwork that I have to do. So hopefully we can get this going. It doesn't take too long, but there is a bunch of stuff that you have to buy, and it is not cheap. If I had to recommend anything, it would try to do it under a budget. You can, you want to spend $5,000, you can get this done and street legal without a problem. I set myself a budget of $2,000, and if I have to buy the brake kit from like one of the guys who makes them, I am gonna be over my budget. Just because wheels and tires were like $1,200, turn signals were $250, bumpers probably $300 or about $400 altogether. Everything starts to add up really quick. So if you can do it on a budget, all more power to you, because you're going to be on the road just like I am. You might have nicer parts, but I can always upgrade them in the future. So hopefully you guys will see more to come on this. We'll get it on the road. I do have a set of trails not too far from the house that I'm going to put it back together here before long. We're going to over there and just do some riding, just do some exploring. It's not like a huge trail system, but there's a bunch of little like hills and stuff back there, so we can go ride those a little bit, like right around the corner from my house. So, and then we do have a couple trips planned up north here before long. I do want to get it up there. Might be a lot of snow, might not, but we'll figure it out. But anyways, if you guys like this video, please like, comment, share, subscribe. I do appreciate it. I do want to grow this, be something fun. I've always been into like the Cletus McFarland channel and the Side by Side blog guys and the Sea Boys and all those guys. So if you like it, hit that subscribe button and we'll see more.